Hello everybody, I'm Conquering History Games, and welcome to part, I think 5 of my Shuksin's Novosibirsk campaign here in Hearts of Iron for the Moe Order, in which we will hopefully actually be switching over now when we do Sovereign Heartland to the to actual Shuksin, or if not here, then soon. But we'll kind of have to wait and see. Now, right at the end of the last episode, we had finished unifying Central Siberia, and we now have our new research slot, which is good. And now we are going to just try to sprint to a government change ASAP. And go from there. I just don't know what to search. Okay. Gosh, you know, hold on. I gotta do hi there, Vice President. Got a nice Comey flag there. We also might end up dealing with the Workers' Federation. Uh-oh. I will not lie to you, there's something wrong with that lead. You know the men I'm talking, with those that lead in the name of all the dead children, all the widows, all the crippled sons, to hell with their promises. So, I don't know if I'm about to have to fight another war right now. Yep. There it is. The revolt of Krasnoyarsk. The worst has come to pass in Krasnoyarsk, it seems, for the city is in open revolt. Believing that their pleas for workers' rights are being directly ignored, the socialist agitators in Krasnoyarsk have risen up! Worse still, some outlying territories have been inspired by the senseless revolt and have done the same in solidarity. If the situation is not grim enough, it has been further exacerbated by the traitorous revolters seizing major industries in the city of Krasnoyarsk. Furthermore, many in the population support these revolters, and we can only assume their numbers swelling in the coming months. The future of our new nation is at stake, and if we do not disperse these revolting workers and end their foolish revolt, it can only end in a disaster for us. So, it's going to form them, and then they will declare war on us. I don't know how big they are. It looks like some people just spawn behind the lines. But I don't think this is going to be too terribly difficult to deal with. Chichi wants to choose between me and Calliope Mori. Yeah, I saw that she was streaming right now. But if I tried, at this point, I can't not stream when other people are, other Hololive people are. They, you know, there's always some. This is the most overhyped revolt from the events. You kill it in 4 seconds at max. I think it's bigger if you if like the what do you call it? The workers' discontent is worse, but yeah, I think it is just mostly something for the AI to lose to sometimes. Ustasi has been defeated. The dream of Croatian independence is shattered, and they will celebrate with some pizza. Oh, Hydra just beat Spear. Wow, bigger Hydric. But I think Borman still got this. Okay, we got some more divisions here that aren't assigned. Let's do that. We're about to just bum rush their capital anyway. Yep, there we go. Duty better is all I'm saying. Yeah, I totally agree. AI Heydrich Germany? No, I don't think so, because Bormann's gotten across the Rhine. He seems to have things pretty under control. Alright, new research slot. 280, 280, 327. It's way too ahead of time for that. Guess we should just work on infantry stuff. Oh, hopefully. Although, hopefully, sorry for that yawn. Hopefully this will be the last war we fight anyway, because we're just going to buy everybody out. Hey, it's the title of the episode, The Federation's Heart. It was a triumphant occasion. Crowds of cheering I'm sorry, something's in my throat. I gotta get some water. Alright, which so somebody's saying German Anarchy playthrough. Have you heard of the Socialist Republic of Germany from pre-work? Heydrich's Second Civil War is making a return to the lore in TT. I think you might need to break that up into 2 or 3 sentences so I can understand it better. Destiny for Germany is Germany and draw. Yeah, we got the title drop. His most conservative path is really good compared to bald guy and fat guy. Yeah, title drop. Burgundian unification is the best because the German people suffer eternally for their sins. Yeah. Okay. It is a triumphant occasion. Crowds of cheering citizens greeting the conquerors of Central Siberia. The men of the All-Siberian Army marched with military precision, exuding pride and confidence, the Air Force flying overhead. Shuksin was supposed to be celebrating, along with the Siloviki and the corporate suits, yet as she watched soldiers march through Novosibirsk streets, all she could feel was apprehension. Pokrishkin meant well, that much was obvious, but she could see the divide between the two of them was growing with every passing day. Barnaul and his native... and her native Altai seemed ever more alien compared to the corruption and apathy in the Federation's capital. As the mayor watched the acrobatics display of the Siberian air fleet, she couldn't help but think something had to give. Okay. So, do we have our new tree? Yes, we very much do. So of course, the first thing you usually want to do is we got to get rid of the overextended administration. So, appointing new governors, that'll help with the strain. This helps with the strain. Consider Bartle's position. Okay. With the economy, there's agriculture stuff here. Some of this stuff's pretty decent, but I think we're gonna, yeah, we gotta start reducing the strain. At last, Central Siberia has been united under our authority, with our rivals in the region vanquished and their loyalties scattered, forced into hiding or exile. But much work remains to be done. Okay. Come on. It's freezing up on me. There we go. They actually should be capitulating very shortly, because, they're at 98%, so I don't even think I need victory points. I just gotta get a tile or two. See, there, I just got that tile, that's 99. Okay! All done. Tyler says, it's okay. Okay, I'll say it less like a Reddit virgin. Oh, gosh. The Socialist Germany from the rework Heydrich, in which he has a second civil war, is coming back into lore. So Heydrich has, Heydrich, not Spear, you mean? There could potentially be a Socialist Germany that comes out of it? That's pretty interesting. It says we have logistic requests that require equipment which is currently not being reduced. Then now it's gone. So guess it was an actual issue. War no Sland Rage is on. Aryan Brotherhoods go to war again. Looks like they're aiming south. Did the Euroleague get bigger or am I crazy? Damn, I'm already yawning. I'm only 11 minutes in. Oh, such a long day at work. But I'm going to try to stream for at least half an hour because I want to get this done. You know, we got to get this done before the update happens. For you know, Hearts of Iron 4, so we gotta finish this campaign. We must improve our ability to play video games. You know what? I think it's just stuffing here. Let me get the air circulating. Smashing the barricades. Factory workers and technicians are no match for professional soldiers. Yeah, you're doggone right. And the gods of the north have just barely arrived. Meanwhile, I've been united. Alright, we can start integrating some of these areas as well. There's no avoiding the pain, just gotta get it done. Take as much rest as you need from a long day at work. Tell you what, I'll make a poll, and you guys can decide. Oops. Alright, there we go. The polls do it. Shuksin's taking his time, taking over the government. Yeah, I wanna make the switch already. See if we can get that done today. But gotta push. And actually, oh, I'm actually starting to feel much better. Just getting that fan on. So I don't even have it pointed at me. I just have it on in the room to circulate the air. Whew. For my sanity, I think I should say yes. No, I need to, you know, do some other stuff than work. Yeah, whenever I do get off, though, the other night, it's just been a rough week. Like, as you guys know, there's 3 books, 3 kind of long pieces of work that I'm trying to get through. I'm trying to get through this before the end of the year. Those being War and Peace, The Penguin History of the World, and the first 2/3 of the Divine Comedy. Because I'm trying to do average a canto a day. I want to deliberately only do 1 canto of the Divine Comedy a day, so that I could appreciate the journey. Although, you know, you could also argue, no, you needed to read the Divine Comedy in just 3 days, because it only takes 3 days. Like, it goes from Friday to Easter Sunday, right? Vitsuka wins in Ostland. The Central European Union has defeated Die Freiwillige Partisaner Organisation as the battle for control of Ostland rages on. I'm not sure I've ever seen this happen. Odd news from Ostland as the Belarusian collaborator Mikhail Vituska has clamped down on the last few remaining regions resisting his rule. News about Vitsutka's plans, goals, and even hopes are scant. This does not seem to be from any true secrecy or from a lack of people and means to speak of it. The simple matter is that nobody even knows what Vitsuka wants. Reports have already spread of smaller conflicts firing up across the colony as numerous cultural groups have risen against the new dictator. The reasoning for this resistance is unclear, but those members of his faction who have been purged from his government and escaped have claimed that Vitsutka's numerous promises to liberate the colony were an utter lie, and that Vitsuka has little interest in allowing any out of his grasp. A tin pot with a broken crown. Let's see, 3 days. I mean, I read Doom because I loved it. I was bored waiting between classes. Divine Comedy is loud. So, Mr. Mocha Lover, who's... that sounds familiar. Mr. Mocha Lover. You gotta remember, I don't watch very many other people on YouTube because I'm making my own content, you know? Even like HoloLive, which I watch for a lot of kicks, for funnies, I just do that for, I only watch that in clips. I don't sit and watch streams. Oh yeah, I was talking about the Divine Comedy. So, like, this week was crazy, and like yesterday, Thursday, was like my freaking Blooms day. Like, James Joyce needs to come back and write about how my freaking day went yesterday. But there was just like a million stories, and in fact, here could be something fun to do, like, in the future, if it ever feels like stuff in the stream is lagging, like we're just waiting for something, which I guess we kind of are now. Say, Conquering History Games, talk about how the day after, talk about 11/12/2021, and what your work day was like, and there was other non-work stuff as well that turned into a hell of a day. But I was talking about, yeah, so at one point this week, what I've been doing is I usually read, I'll read War and Peace and the Penguin History of the World, but the Divine Comedy I read at night. And so what I do with the Divine Comedy, the version I'm reading through is the translation by frickin', I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but he's the guy who did it in the 50s. There goes Kennedy. It's the one where he translated it in such a way that it rhymes in English, and he basically said that he wanted to kind of keep that form. He has this whole argument he makes where he's like, look, you can write a piece of music for the piano, but if you're going to play it on the violin, you've got to change it. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I like to read it out loud, which I kind of generally like to do with poetry, even though I'm by myself when I read it. And the other night, I'm just sitting on my couch, I'm reading it, and then I wake up, and I'm like, just I'm face planted and on the couch, and I was just, huh? It's like I fell asleep, reading out loud, which is not the first time in my life I've fallen asleep while talking. In fact, I kind of made a habit of it about 10 years ago. Anyway, let's read on. The Federation of Paradise. It was early in the morning when Radio Free Siberia's programming changed in the newly integrated territory. Oh yeah, and I bring all that up to say, it's like what I'm going to try to do before bed is at least read a few cantos, maybe like 3, to catch up, because I missed 2 days. Because like, my last 2 days, my Thursday and Friday especially, were really, really fucking busy. And I, in quotation marks, fell behind because I didn't read either of those. And they had a trial to unexile the writer of the Divine Comedy from Florence a couple months ago on Zoom. I heard about that, but I think Florence likes to do that every few years as like a publicity stunt because I think like if I remember correctly, Dante ended up getting buried in Ravenna, which I don't know if Ravenna's on this map, but outside of Florence, and then Florence wanted him back, and I think he like left instructions like, no, you keep my fucking tomb where I'm buried. Like, they don't want me in life, they don't get me in death. Yeah, but anyway, I'm kind of ahead of the pace on the Penguin history and on War and Peace that I need to finish them by the end of the year. Especially War and Peace, I've been kind of zooming through that as fast as you can go through a 1,300-page book. But I've been, because the canto, I'm doing like a strict one canto a day average. I'm falling behind because I missed a couple days. So anyway. By the way, I'm seeing that you guys have indeed given me permission to cut the stream early whenever, so like if I start to feel that I'm fading out again, that's what I'll do. Okay, but let's at least try to, I don't know, maybe not get the switch over, but like, what can we try to do today? Just, try to get some stuff done. We gotta wait like 4.5 years to take you to Siberia. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out here. Cheetah is at war with Yakutia right now. But I really think that... Oh, this character looks a little familiar. This really brings out her eyes. But right now, I think it's... As I said before, I think it's going to be Irkutsk unification. The Federation... And Tyler, remind me to tell... After I read this event, remind me to talk about another trial or like a criminal thing in the United States that happens every few years. Okay, the Federation of Paradise. It was early in the morning when Radio Free Siberia's programming changed in the newly integrated territories. Many would not fully realize the change itself, but it happened nonetheless, and it was permanent all the same. Changes were several. Announcements focused on improvement of civilian supply, including foodstuffs, consumer goods, and the like. They soon increased in frequency and intensity. The advantages of the new administration over the former, in terms of good deliveries, became an objective fact. Most people claimed to their friends and neighbors that they ignored the obvious propaganda, and to some extent they did. But the concepts constantly spouted were never further than earshot away, and over time they were internalized, just as the propagandists intended. A variant of the truth, at least, surely. Okay, yeah. So there, you don't have to remind me now, Tyler. So there's, some of you may know about the outlaw, out from the law, known as Billy the Kid. So Billy the Kid was a, he was a guy who got killed. He got shot and killed very young. He was only in New Mexico. He was only 21. Now he was a New York City boy, but he's like he went out west. It was like a classic example of like the wild, wild west. So there's like a lot. There's a lot of legends about him and whatnot. But one of the things that has kind of happened over the years is there's been efforts to have Billy the Kid pardoned. Apparently, yeah. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah, like the one that I remember, and there's like a constant effort to get it done, was that Governor Bill Richardson, who was this Democratic governor of New Mexico. Not really famous nationwide, although he did run for president once. I'm not saying whether I liked him or not, but like because I was born and raised in El Paso, we knew about him because he was the governor of the state right over the border, and he did not pardon Billy, and I think in like his statement he said something like, Billy wouldn't want to be out pardoned. He was a criminal. He knew what he was, or something like that. Billy the Kid. No. I'm talking about the outlaw Billy the Kid who died in the 1800s. Post-Medici Republic, Medici monarchy, Florence sucks, especially if you like the whole Renaissance. I don't think, I'm going to say something here that, I don't know how controversial this is or not. I guess it doesn't really matter. But I think... Hold on a second. Yeah, we want to increase the strength of the populace, right? Okay, this will be good for factory output. Okay, cool. Such methods only inflame working men's anger even more. But about Dante, I do not consider Dante Renaissance literature. I consider him still a part of the medieval age. New Mexico is the forgettable middle child between Texas and Colorado. That is pretty funny because, you know, as somebody who was born and raised in El Paso, that is essentially what New Mexico is. For people going to, you know, when you're going to Denver or whatever, it's like, just got to get through this and then come on back. Come on now. Although, I'm actually hoping next February to take a trip up into northern New Mexico. I want to go to Santa Fe to catch a concert. I actually need to buy the ticket for that. There it is. Bormann has won the German Civil War. Nation in ruins, collapsed economy, weary populace, and much of Europe still consumed by chaos. A third-party New Mexico governor ran for president. You know, he was kind of a failure in that whole... oh, you mean Gary Johnson? Well, Gary Johnson... wait, was he a libertarian already? When he? I don't think he was a libertarian when he ran for governor. Well, hello, Frey. In Chile. Okay, nun outfit and then like a pilot outfit. What's going on here? Eduardo Frei Montalban. That's not what I'm actually seeing here, though. Okay, weird. Santa Fe. Yeah, Santa Fe's great. Last time I was in Santa Fe was 2019. And it was, yeah, it's great. I love that city. So much cool art. A lot of neat places to visit. Cool museums. They like... There's a lot of also cool cultural events, like little concerts and stuff of different types. Like, last time I was in Santa Fe, I had missed it by a week, but there was apparently, like, a freaking ukulele orchestra that was on tour, or, like, not on tour, but, like, they were going to come do a show in Santa Fe or something. Yeah, see, improvement, regardless of purpose. Gregory had worked in the factories of Novosibirsk for many years. He had seen many regimes offer many promises, and he had seen many of those promises broken. But he had very recently noticed that some promises had been kept. He could hardly believe it, but it was true all the same. Operating conditions and safety. He still, at the end of the day, he still possessed considerable energy. That's so funny because I'm really tired. Because of the work. Oh man. Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of it, but basically at the post they opened another post station in El Paso, and I got transferred to it. And the whole idea is that it was to take the strain off of the station I used to be at, and it does do that, but because the mail is so like the delivery of mail is extremely structured. That's why it's so dependable. Like, that's why, like, when you think about it, every house in America it can get visited by the mail every day. It's really wild to think about. I just think of the logistics that go into that. But it also means that when you want to change that a part of the system, it's a bit bumpy. Basically, there is an organizational thing that has to do going on, a little problem going on with the Amazon packages, which is Amazon's fault. And it's causing inefficiencies in the system. Stuff is still getting delivered. Actually, I was delivering something. My last package of the day yesterday was there early, and I was and I had gone out of my way to deliver it. They had me go out of my way, and it's like, oh my gosh, we could have just taken this tomorrow. It's like it was due to come in tomorrow. We brought all this work to bring it in a day early, but it's yeah, it's making things a little harder. than it needs to be. Anyway, so improvement regardless of purpose. Things are better. Who cares why? Yeah. Placating the workers. What is all this? Oh yeah, let's integrate Tuba. And what do we got down here? A lot of stuff. A lot of regional developments we can start working on. I'm not going to do army professionalism. I don't think I need that. It's always good to work on that poverty rate. That's a good buff. Don't care about this. In Maudlin, it's also exclusively FedEx and Amazon that comes around these parts, but I did wave to a post office guy in his truck while he was packing stuff. Oh, that's nice. Which state is better in your opinion as a Southwesterner, Arizona or New Mexico? I was in Arizona recently, and you know what? Arizona has got some strong things going for it. I've been there several. I've been to both states several times in my life. I would say I'm gonna lean New Mexico. I'm gonna go with New Mexico though. Yeah. Arizona just has some crippling problems. Things that like hurt it too bad. Like for example, Tucson. Every time I've gone to Tucson, the roads are a mess, either from some sort of construction issue, or what seems to happen more actually is there are just car accidents everywhere that are like blocking intersection roads because people in Tucson seem to just drive like fucking maniacs all the time. So that really hurts them. I also just think their cities aren't as well designed. They're kind of overly sprawling and not terribly organized. It's difficult to get to places at times. The nature in Arizona, is pretty cool. And actually, the signature cactus of Arizona, you know, when you think of like a stereotypical cactus with the two arms bent up, is if I remember correctly, there's technically a law in the books that like you can't transport those cactuses out of the state because they try to keep them exclusive to Arizona. It's just like one of those things. It's like in Texas, I think it's still legal to carry wire cutters in your back pocket because you could use them for snipping barbed wire on ranches. Actually, today at work, I delivered to a ranch. I was on a route that actually took me kind of outside the city and almost into New Mexico via the desert. Hold on a second, I'm thinking here. Maintaining equilibrium. All the news that's fit to shred. Some dishonest media coming. Shit, I haven't been paying attention to researching. I don't know, it's just... I guess I'm just not feeling motivated to research stuff because I don't plan on ever going to war again. But yeah, I just basically was driving into the desert to deliver to like 3 areas. Like, how many did I deliver to? Like 4. And it was actually kind of a cool moment because one of the places, actually it was the one that I didn't deliver to out there in the middle of the desert, was a place that I used to work at. And it was those things I thought, moved on. Like, I'm back here physically, but I've moved on in other ways. Let's improve some worker training so we can get that industry bonus, I guess. From my experience, this is Tyler saying, worst drivers I've seen are in South Carolina. Used to live in Texas. Not many people got in my way, but in South Carolina, with all the hills, they always almost crash into me. The worst drivers I've ever seen kind of depends on what you define as worst, because Arizona seems to have like high accident rates. But when I visited, yeah, that is, check out that linen. But the Florida was really scary to drive in when I visited there. But there weren't very many accidents. But everybody was just zooming all around. Nobody was getting pulled over, and it's like, where's the police? They can make a fucking killing on tickets. It was just zoom, 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 zoom. Especially this one particular night I was there. But on the other hand, I was also quite tired that night and trying to get back. As I gotta get to shelter, get to bed, sleep. And it was just zoom, 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 zoom. All the news, it's fit to shred. The article was damning in the establishment. Ludmilla could see that. That's why no one ever else could. It was a shame, really. The article was an exceptional piece of journalism. Been undercover for months. She had interacted with her co-workers just enough to avoid suspicion, just enough for them to open up to her. This was how the article detailing the Porkrishkin-backed corporate corruption and not so legal union busting methods had come across her desk. Artyom was a good man, young and idealistic, ready to crusade against justice with his typewriter and pen. Perhaps the greatest shame was dealing with a young crusader. Once the article had been destroyed, and Artyom had made a tragic point of telling Ludmilla to be careful with it, as he had no copies, Ludmilla would destroy him. The police were already in her pocket, had already agreed to arrest Artyom on the charges she had fabricated involving the indecent images of questionable age another SB agent had left in his home. A small price to pay for stability. Damn! So, for anybody who didn't catch that, Ludmilla is a snitch inside, or like is a mole inside the newspaper, and arranged to have child porn planted in the home of the journalist who's trying to expose corporate corruption. Literally all Americans, well, the worst drivers are obviously from insert neighboring state. Yeah. Oh, it's neighboring cities, too. Let's see. Special administration zones. I wonder if I should... Let's see, let me look at my logistics here. I'm so behind on that artillery. But again, it doesn't really matter. There we go. Texas does have some big roads. Yeah, for sure. Cormac McCarthy. You know, my mind was wandering today, and I was thinking about No Country for Old Men. I haven't actually read it. I've read other Cormac McCarthy stuff, but I haven't actually read No Country for Old Men, even though it's a terrific, terrific movie. I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers. They're in my top 10 directors, I think. Jellicoe elected Prime Minister. Huh. In the poll. But yeah, I've read The Road. I remember I read The Road like about when it first came out. And I've also read Blood Meridian. I've read that a couple times. Let's work on agriculture. Actually, I kind of stopped following Cormac McCarthy for a bit. These days, he lives in, actually, where does he live these days? He was born in Rhode Island, but he moved down here into the Southwest. I think he actually was in El Paso for quite a while. Here we go. Whoops. Let's see here. Yeah, he moved here in the 70s. Yeah. But one of the things that's kind of funny about McCarthy is Cormac McCarthy is he said that he got the inspiration for the road just like once imagining El Paso on fire and being laid to waste within 100 years. Yeah. So that eventually became the road. U.S. RFK campaigns are trying to find food. Oh, that's nice there. Mr. Jones. Yeah. Okay, so nostalgia. Looked at the Phoenix building squatting in her beloved Kansk. Felt tears in her eyes, remembering the way things used to be. She missed her red and black cap, her companion. So this is an anarchist who's upset with the corporations taking over here in Kansk. Was the past so easily forgotten? Could she wake up day after day and pretend she wasn't an outspoken anarchist? The two anarchists had once been exceptional friends and companions in labor, but now here they were staring at another once another, supposed to say one another, on the Kansk street. They would never speak again. She had the same look in her eyes. Mother Anarchy would not recognize her son. So that's it. I think the administrative strain is now completely gone. Let me double check that. Yeah, it's done with. Nice. And we're all of a sudden stamping out the embers as well. So, I think we're going to do Nod to Democracy. And then we'll start working on the economy, I think. I think we have more than enough time to do all this stuff, really. Those damn anarchists should be happy Daddy Shuksin is making a stable state. Yeah. Let's see here. But No Country for Old Men is just so freaking good, and obviously it seems to be like, it's like a globally praised movie, but it really does have a special meaning for Texans like me. Like, you people don't understand how much that movie just gets Texas. The gas station owners, you know, out there, the chicken farmers, the women who run the hotels and stuff. The dress style, even though it's set in the 80s, a lot of that is still around. Yeah, it just gets it. I've been meaning to get Blood Meridian. Yeah, Blood Meridian's some spooky stuff. I have a friend who, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I have a friend who's had ideas for years now on how to do a film adaptation of Blood Meridian. And he had a really interesting and controversial idea on how to cast one of the primary characters, and it's so fucking good that we have, me and my friends, we have all but sworn a blood oath that if we ever win with a lotto, which should happen any day now, even though we don't buy tickets, you know, in the lotto, they just knock on your door one day and say, hey, you won the lotto, even though you don't buy a ticket. Anyway, that we are gonna fund this movie. But anyway, let's increase the loyalty of everybody a little bit, and then we'll do the nod to democracy. I've read the text of No Country for Old Men. It's literally a carbon copy of the movie. They did a really good job recreating it. There are some small differences, I've been told, but they're just so minuscule it like hardly matters. And some of them are just like, you can tell it's like just the Coen brothers just want to you know, tweak a couple of little things. So for example, the part where Chigurin kills what's his name, Harris, I think, Woody Harrelson's character. Like, apparently in the book, the phone rings after he kills him, and in the movie, the phone rings before he kills him. So, you know, really crucial difference. No, it was Carson. Carson Wells. Carson. That's always can't have a Western movie without Carson. And so you tried to listen to the Game of Thrones audiobooks, couldn't get past the 15-minute mark. I don't know, I've never read those myself, or I should say listened to them, the audiobooks myself. I actually recently read, hold on, let me read this. Increasing opposition, there's opposition growing, he was always considered a dissident, railing against the increasing centralization of the government from his maddeningly secure office in Barnell. She had always been personally manageable. Ever-increasing numbers, conflict seems inevitable, there's always malcontents under any system. An adaptation of Blood Meridian would be the most controversial thing and most difficult. Oh yeah, and that was why, like, that and again, I don't want to get into the details of what his ideas are with adapting Blood Meridian, but it's one of those things like, yeah, it's controversial, but the whole movie is gonna be like, it's like people are gonna raise hell about it because, I don't want to spoil things for those people who have never read it, but Blood Meridian has some real fucking horror going on in there. What was the last thing that he did? Let's see, he did Blood Meridian in '85, but like, what has he been working on lately? He hasn't done anything since The Road, so I guess maybe he just quietly retired. He's kind of a private dude. But Blood Meridian is also the one that gets kind of like critically praised the most. I don't think it was very successful in terms of selling, but yeah, it's an interesting dude. He's an interesting guy. It's an interesting story. But oh yeah, I was gonna say I recently just today actually finished re-listening. I had read the book before, but I never actually listened to the audio of Mike Duncan's Storm Before the Storm, which I think I've said this before. Mike Duncan writes books that I wanted to write when I was younger. He beat me to it. Yeah, Storm Before the Storm is basically about how the Roman Republic, some would say it already had ended, but it covers the period from 146, which BC, which is when Corinth was, both Corinth and Carthage were sacked, like kind of definitively giving Rome control over the Mediterranean world. And it goes up until the death of Sulla. And so, like, the conflicts between Marius and Sulla, I first learned about when I was young. Yeah, Irkutsk, I don't know, they're getting some encirclements. This could go either way. Like, they've taken Cheetah, they've taken the capital. The Divine Mandate's not getting involved for a bit, because they're still dealing with the pirates. So, I think Irkutsk, yeah, I still think Irkutsk might get it. Oh, that's the end of the South African War. Surrendered Northern Territory and border independence has been recognized. So, not the worst thing that can happen to South Africa, but pretty not good. You know, not good for the OFN. So, what was I talking? Can't have no Western without John Wayne. But what was I just saying? Sorry, getting the sleepies. Let's do this nod to democracy. Wait, we were rewarding our allies. We were talking about Blood Meridian. We were talking about the great American novel, or something, and then what? Gosh dang it! I fucking blanked out. Oh yeah, audiobooks. Yeah, Storm Before Storm. So. Yeah, I learned about the Marius and Sulla stuff of Roman history from Empire Earth, actually, the real-time strategy game. It was in the Age of Conquest expansion, the Roman campaign. The first, like, 3 scenarios of it are that era of history. Like, you know, the wars against the nondescript barbarians coming down into Italy, who we don't know much about. Say the line about pilgrims. Yeah. Say the pilgrim thing. But yeah, it's really good, and listening to the audiobook was cool. Like, I've read it before, but it was nice hearing it in his voice. Beep, 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 beep. Say the line. Say the line about pilgrims. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Blah, blah, ba, da, ba. Dun, 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 dun. Well, the Divine Mandate is doing its thing. It's a three-way war now. Yeah, I think that might hurt ear cuts, but they've been getting some good encirclements. Suggestion, check out Historia Civilis. YouTube talks about the rise of Caesar reforms and scheme to kill him. Oh yeah, I know about him. He's the guy. He kind of picked up the torch after Mike Duncan finished up his History of Rome stuff all those years ago, and he's like, I'm going to only talk about Rome. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, he's although he's kind of moved outside. He's been starting to move out of the purview of or maybe he's gonna move out of the purview of Roman history, because he did 19th century history recently, but actually I'm looking at him now. Wow, he hasn't really done much. He's only done like 3 videos this year. Huh. Well, he's got like an enormous fucking Patreon. I'm sure he'll always have people sign. At this point, he's big enough that people sign up for his Patreon just to, just based off his backlog. Like, let me look at his Patreon real quick. Yeah, he has 2,602 patrons. He's hiding how much money total that is, but yeah, even if that's only $1 from each one, and I'm sure it's more, that's $2,600 a month from just Patreon. That's not counting his ad revenue. Good for him, you know. Okay, so we're in Tomsk. Inauguration of Alexander Voznezensky as mayor, a small but important step forward for fair and free democracy in the Federation. The Republic was dead and gone now, though, and the Federation stood its place to make the best of it. Voznensky had joined forces with Shuksin, and so does the candidate of liberty. Jesus Christ! Caesar just scared the shit out of me. Okay, everything's fine. Whew. Oh, god damn. God, my heart's racing. Oh, Caesar's nuzzling me now. I didn't mean to scare you. Even as he waved to the crowd, he walked up the steps of the stage from which he would be inaugurated and gave his victory speech. He knew it would be no easy task to accomplish. Inaugurated and then give his victory speech. He knew that there would be no easy task to accomplish. Fierce opposition awaited the levers of democracy at the highest levels of the current government. Then again, good men never did the right thing because it was easy. In freedom, men find truth. Yeah, Historia Civilis. He's cool. Trying to think of other history channels that I like. That are like YouTube based, because you guys know I like Mike Duncan and I have both of his books, but he's got his own website. He's not really YouTube based. Actually, is he even? I don't even think he's on YouTube. Let me look that up. I know there's people who put his podcast in a playlist. Like there's that guy Timaeus who's terrific. He made a playlist of like his History of Rome podcast, where like he just kind of sorted the episodes by theme basically. So like the 2 hours of Octavian are in a single video, and then like Augustus, you know, after he's emperor, is the second video. So it's very nicely organized. It's been up for years. So obviously Mike Duncan must not have a problem with it. It's like he's just kind of organized it. So Caesar was planning to do a Caesar, but he'd be the one with the knife. Yeah. Okay, a controlled political spectrum. We need to control the politics in the Federation. Yeah, so Irkutsk just won. I don't see how they would lose to the Divine Mandate. Let's see. Yeah, they've got them outnumbered, outgunned, outplanned, better units. Excuse me, Caesar? Gotta get my water here. But anyway, I was saying, so yeah, history channels I enjoy. Epic History TV is cool. I actually really want to sit down one day and go through, not in a single day, but go through all of his Napoleon's marshals, which I think he actually put them all in a super video or something. Yeah, Napoleon's marshals ranked all parts. It's like a 3-hour video. But I really want to do that for a couple of reasons. Yeah, I think he does good work. I've said before for like people who, because just because history could be more casual doesn't mean it's, or like I should say more engaging, more open to the public, doesn't mean it's bad. And I think History Matters, the History Matters channel, is real good. Usually in my personal experience, educational and history channels that like over rely on the animations or whatever tend to be kind of shit. Like they just kind of, but people subscribe to them because that, oh, the pictures are moving, the cartoon, and but like the actual substance isn't there. But History Matters does really good stuff, and I say this every time, and I hope you guys don't get sick of it. Oh, I forgot about the Divine Mandate. They have like the uprising mechanic, so they might be able to pull this off actually. Disunited opposition. Yeah, acceptable political views. Police get called out, dispersing protests. Bloodless and effortless victory. Okay. So, but I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it a million times more. History Matters is the king of asking a question that a casual person would have never thought of, and then answering it. Because, like, all their... And, like, History Matters is, like, a team. It's not just one guy. But it's, like, you know... okay, like, one they did 5 days ago. Why didn't the Tsar flee Russia during the Russian Revolution? Maybe a casual person would go, yeah, why didn't the Tsar flee? Didn't he get killed? Probably should have fled. Why didn't he do that? And he's like, well, here's a 3-minute video answering that. Tick is a good history channel. Tick? I don't think I know Tick. Let me look that up. Channel all about history. Oh, first thing I see is a video that just says, need a break, and it's a really tired-looking guy. Let's see... I'm looking at him. Let's see, his thumbnails look kind of familiar, but a lot of people use this style. I don't think I've seen any of his stuff. Not a huge fan of him putting his own face in the thumbnail. Let's see here. Okay. Allocate some research funding. You know what? I haven't done anything for research facilities. Then, like, the research facilities buffs aren't that great, but I do like to have it ticking. You know, I just realized I probably should keep doing some army stuff for the eventual war with Germany. Tick's taking a break, but he does a good job demolishing the ideology of Nazism. THE Mandate has a 50% division attack and defense modifier. They're a lot stronger than they look. Okay. But, you know, speaking of Mike Duncan, and I was wanting to sort of do this, but like, the storm before the storm really was encouraging me. I really want to try to get not a complete collection of Roman histories in my personal library, but just start to really keep an eye out for the books I'm missing in my collection. Like, you know, I want to try to have Livy. I've got a copy of Tacitus. I have, like, the Britannica one, but I kind of want one with notes, if possible. I like books. I like classics when they come with an essay, too. Like, sometimes you get really interesting stuff in intro essays for classics. Stuff like Penguin does it. Oxford History does it. Barnes & Noble's Classics does it. You know, where they'll have, you know, somebody, you know, write, yeah, it's an essay before the book or after the book or whatever. I like those kinds of things. Putting the pressure on. Centralization, it will not stand. There we go. Let's get this done. Finally, all things in union. Let's do this, then we'll call it a day. The challenge may have seemed insurmountable at first, but at least we can say that our administrative troubles are over. The last wounds of the workers' revolt have finally healed, while our new lands continue to adapt well to the Federation's laws. More importantly, however, it seems our political disagreements with Barnaul have been amended, at least for the time being. At last, President Pushkin is finally free to shape Siberia however he sees fit. With all the moving parts of our nation working in harmonious union once again, our Federation will be reforged into a nation of iron, worthy of claiming the mantle of the legitimate Russian government. Let's see. Soplin said, OCHG, I forgot to thank you for the shelf review. It got me back into reading. I got a whole host of new books to add to my Goodreads ahead of the Christmas season, so big shout out to you, my guy. I hear about this. Oh, yeah, Pavlodar is doing good, by the way. That's cool, because that's conservative democracy, too. I've actually rearranged my shelves since I did that video in a way that I think is better. But, you know, it's always a process of improvement. But one thing that I'm having issue right now with is basically I had things organized well, and mostly pretty good, but the main issue I have is that I like to try to keep my ancient Greek, how's she talking about books changes? Well, it's like, I just turned on the fan to get the air circulating, and so it wasn't so stuffy in this room. I always kind of like to keep the fans on for air circulation, even in the midst of winter. I just like the air to move, and I'll have a fan on. I just might not point it at myself. Caesar, what is it? Caesar wants me to end the stream so I can feed him. Yeah, so I'm about to do it here, but once we're done with this focus. But oh yeah, just real quick, my bookshelf issue. So basically, I like to keep my ancient Rome and ancient Greek stuff together, but I kind of was just moving some things around. I figured out a slightly better way to organize everything. But now the ancient Greek and ancient Rome stuff is shoving into like kind of general European stuff, and I'm running out of room. So I need to, I don't know, I need to figure something out. Caesar, it's okay. What do I think of a canticle for Leibowitz? I don't think I know that one. I'm looking it up. Set in a Catholic monastery in the southwest United States after a devastating nuclear war, book spans thousands of years as civilization rebuilt itself. Yeah, that sounds really freaking cool. I've never heard of that concept. Time to check how much it would cost on thrift books. Looking it up. Oh, very cheap. That's what I like to see. Just pop that bitch in the wish list there. Ancient Greek, like... Okay, let me read this before I keep doing it. Thank you for the prompt call. Remember to say hi to that wife of yours for me. I miss her plemian. Shut down the phone. I take it. This is good news. The name Shuksin has become basically synonymous with some sort of misplaced democratic idealism. Increasing leaning towards Unitarianism. Let's check how we're doing here. God damn it! We're just full corporate federalism. We need to get the freaking collectivism, don't we? God. We don't have political power. I feel like I'm fucking this up. right. Of course, being top right is very good in the Hololive region world. But no, we need to stop making the bottom left jokes. It's gotten old. It got overplayed. Let's all move on. So ancient Greece. Yeah, I really like to basically study but actually slightly before the Alexander era. I've never actually read what do you call it? Is it Appian's book? The ones like the ancient historical primary source on Alexander the Great. I've never actually read that. I like the histories and the like the Herodotus Thucydides era. But I recently found out that Xenophon, there's a lot more to him than that. He did the Anabasis, which I read many years ago, and I have a copy of. I'm actually wanting to get a nicer copy of it when I get the chance. But yeah, I was learning recently a lot more about his life and how much more that he wrote. Like, I didn't know that he basically finished the account of the Peloponnesian War, because for those of you who don't know, Thucydides didn't finish explaining the whole war. But yeah, I don't know much about Alexander in terms of primary sources. So the call. Economy boomed, the earth divested of her resources, profits are soaring, unemployment is low, the air is calm, peace descends over the land. The storm loomed, and both Porcikin and Shuksin knew it even if the people did not. They secreted themselves away in their fortresses with their servants, plotting the downfall of the other. The new struggle would not be over land and resources, not some battle for dead Russia. Armies would not clash on the streets. It would be a war of intrigue, of back alley deals and political machinations. The Federation held its breath. The war for the heart of Siberia begins. Yeah, so what I think I need to start doing with all my extra political power is just slamming it into the people power to get away from this corporatism. So we gotta get to collectivism. So we've got to get, yeah, the populace up. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be it for the day. So we ended up going over an hour. Very nice. But yeah, you were talking about before Socrates. I actually, another book that's on my, if I could ever find it cheap, I want to get it list, is I want to pick up the lives of the philosophers, which goes into like Zeno and Epicurus and whatnot, like the non-Athenian philosophers. Like they weren't all like, there was more to ancient Greek philosophy than Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. So I'd like to get that sometime, but I've never seen a copy for less than like $20, and it's my understanding that you also got to be careful about which copy you get, because they're not always great. Because the thing with classics, with primary sources of classics, especially ones that need translation, there might be so many versions out there, but that doesn't actually mean they're good. Anyway, you all have a nice weekend. Good night, everybody, and I'm gonna try to stream tomorrow. You know, usually I stream today on Saturday, which I usually do, so that usually don't do. So that was a nice surprise. Hope you enjoyed. Anyway, take care, everybody. Good night.